Week 17 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I look to drop this week. The first guy, Ian Anderson of the Atlanta Braves. So Ian Anderson, it's been an up and down season here for him with Atlanta, but he just doesn't have it. And I was a big Ian Anderson guy coming into the year thinking he would have a good season, but that just hasn't been the case. They sent him down to the minors, even though he's going to be rejoining the rotation on Saturday. But in big games, he's just not getting the job done, and he's not going deep into games on the season. 105 and 2/3, 9-6 record, 110 hits, 60 runs, 53 walks, 93 strikeouts, 5 quality starts, a 5.11 ERA, and a 1.54 whip. So obviously over a 5 ERA is not going to get the job done. And the last 2 out of 3 outings, he's been hit hard as Anderson. July 24th versus the Angels, 3 innings, got the loss in that one, 8 hits, 7 runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks. July 30th versus Arizona, 6 innings, got the win, a hit, no runs, a walk, 9 Ks, a quality start. And then August 5th at the Mets, he only went 4 2/3, and the Braves were leading that game 8-0 at one point. 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 3 Ks. So right now, he's been erratic. He's not hitting the strike zone. He's not winning ball games really or going deep into games, only going 6 innings or more twice since June 19th. So right now, Anderson, he's just a guy who had major upside coming into the season, but I just don't see it right now. And he's been dropped in 12% of fantasy leagues here as Anderson, and fantasy owners have had enough of him. The next guy's Hunter Green of the Cincinnati Reds. So Hunter Green, the top prospects in the Red system. And it's been a bad rookie season for him for the most part. And now he's hurt with a shoulder injury, undergoing MRI, and no timetable for his return. But obviously with the Reds being one of the worst teams in the league, there's no reason to rush him back. And next season, you just look forward to and you bring him back. So on the season, 102 and 2/3, 4-12 record, a complete game shutout under his belt, 92 hits, 60 runs, 41 walks, 127 strikeouts, and 6 quality starts with a 5.26 ERA and a 1.30 whip. So right now, Green's still owned in 36% of fantasy leagues. But right now, with him on a bad team in Cincinnati and with the shoulder, it definitely could be something serious. We don't know for sure, but no timetable for his return. And fantasy owners in 10 and 12 team leagues, there's no reason to really hold on to him. July 15th at St. Louis, 5 innings. Got the loss in that one, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks. July 26th versus Miami, 6 1/3, got the loss. 9 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 6 Ks, a quality start. And August 1st in Miami, 6 innings, got the win. 1 hit, no runs, 8 Ks, a quality starts. Actually, 3 out of 4 games he did put together quality starts here is Hunter Green. But with the injury and the up and down inconsistencies this season, there's no reason to stash him on your roster. And he's a guy that's obviously been legit with the strikeouts, with 127 in 102 innings. But everything else, he's been erratic, walking the ballpark, and giving up a lot of hits. So right now, I would drop him this week. The next guy, Nick Pavetta of the Boston Red Sox. So Pavetta, it's been a tale of 2 type of seasons here for him. He's a guy that's had some good weeks, and then a guy that's been getting hit around on the season. 123 and 2/3, 8-8 record, a complete game, 120 hits, 62 runs, 45 walks, 119 strikeouts, 10 quality starts, a 4.51 ERA, and a 1.33 whip. But over the last few weeks here for Pavetta, 10 innings, 0-1 record, 16 hits, 7 runs, 3 walks, 9 Ks. That's not going to get the job done. And over the last month, he's really been horrible. 23 1/3 for Pavetta. 0-2 record, 38 hits, 21 runs, 11 walks, 24 Ks, and 8.10 ERA. And a 1.10 whip. So right here, his numbers have been bad for Pavetta this season. He's not going out there, not going deep into games. And I think some of these division matchups and tougher matchups have caught up to him. And this Red Sox team, they've unraveled quickly over the last month of the season. So right now, Pavetta's not pitching well, and there's no reason to hold on to him. July 25th versus Cleveland, 5 2/3 in that one, 7 hits, a run, 3 walks, 6 Ks. July 30th versus Milwaukee, 5 innings, got the loss. 9 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. And August 4th at the Royals, 5 innings in that one, no decision. 7 hits, 3 runs, walks, 5 Ks. So right here, last quality start was June 29th for him. And there's no reason to hold on to him. He's got a tough matchup tomorrow versus the Atlanta Braves. Here's Pavetta. And he's just a guy who's been on a downward spiral, and a guy we'll get rid of this weekend. The next guy I would look to drop this week, Sir Anthony Dominguez of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Sir Anthony Dominguez, he's having a good year here, but now that he's not going to be the closer over there in Philly, there's no reason to really go out there and keep him on your roster. Right now, still owned in 49% of fantasy leagues. On the season, 39 and a third, 5-3 record, 6 saves, 23 hits, 7 runs, 12 walks, 48 Ks, a blown save, a 1.60 ERA, and an 0.89 whip. But over the last few weeks here, he's been lights out. 3 and a third, 1-0 record, a save, 2 hits, a walk, 4 Ks, 0 ERA, 0.69 whip. But now he'll be the 8th inning man over there in Philly, with them trading for David Robertson at the Major League trade deadline, and him becoming the closer here, rightfully so, after Robertson had a good season with the Chicago Cubs before going to Philly. So Philly here, letting that bullpen at the deadline. Dominguez, he's been pitching good, and now he'll be in the 8th inning, and Robertson in the 9th. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch, I would say here. But right now, if he's not getting saves, there's no fantasy value, and I would drop him. There's a chance we could see him back as the closer some point this season, but I highly doubt it unless Robertson goes down with injury or he struggles. But right now, at this time, I would drop him. In the 5th and final pitcher I look to drop is Luisa Rovino of the New York Yankees. So Rovino's his worst enemy with these injuries here. We know he's a talented pitcher and one of the best a few seasons ago in the major leagues, but the injuries have caught up to him, and he's been a guy you just can't count on now in fantasy baseball, and the Yankees can't even count on him as well. That's why they added some starting rotation help to the mix here as the New York Yankees. On the season for Rovino, 86 innings, 5-3 record, 67 hits, 33 runs, 25 walks, 95 Ks, 7 quality starts, a 3.45 ERA, 1.07 whip. But right now, we haven't seen Rovino in game action in pretty much a month here. Now he's on the 60-day DL. Is Rovino got transferred, and he's eligible to come back mid-September. But right now, there's no reason for fantasy owners to really wait on him. And he's still owned in 70% of fantasy leagues here, is Luisa Rovino. So that's surprising to me. Mid-September is going to be his return. And most teams are either in the playoff push or out of it in their fantasy leagues here. So right now, no reason to hold on to Rovino. I know some leagues, people have held on to him, like I mentioned, still owned in 70% of leagues here. But he's just a guy you can't count on. And he's a guy that's had a lot of setbacks over the last few seasons and a lot of injured list trips. So that's a few pitches I look to drop here for Week 17 of the fantasy baseball season.